I just found out my marriage has a termination fee of $128,000. Ryan and Amanda thought they were winning. 2 careers, 2 degrees, top 25% of earners. But the math didn't add up. Amanda was secretly checking the joint account every night, watching their safety net dissolve into lifestyle creep and convenience stress. While the gurus tell you to budget better, the brutal truth is that your second income isn't a blessing. It's a trap that's creating a silent divorce in your own home. And I have the math to prove you're being lied to. Amanda is sitting at the kitchen table, Sunday night, 11:47 p.m., spreadsheet open on her laptop, calculator in her hand, and she's doing math that's making her nauseous. When she was single, making $37,000 as a graphic designer, she had $680 left at the end of each month. Not much, but it was there, predictable, safe. Now she's married to Ryan. Combined income, $128,000. Her $58,000, his $70,000. They bought the house they deserved, 2 cars they needed, furniture that matched, subscriptions that made sense for a dual-income household. And she's looking at their joint account balance, $340, with 6 days until payday. Again, she pulls up last year's transactions. They made $128,000 and saved $1,100 total. That's 0.86% of their gross income, less than 1%. When she was single, making $37,000, she saved $8,160 annually, 22% of her income. She's making $21,000 more now. They're making $91,000 more combined than she made single, and somehow they're saving $7,060 less than she did alone. The math doesn't make sense until it does, and that's when her hands start shaking, because she's realizing the second income didn't make them secure. It made them financially fragile. It gave them permission to spend at a level that requires both incomes permanently. And if anything happens to either job, if Ryan gets laid off, if she needs to take time off, if anything disrupts the dual income machine, they don't just lose one income, they lose their entire lifestyle. And she's thinking, we built a life that looks successful, but only works if nothing ever goes wrong. We're not building wealth. We're building a debt-financed lifestyle that we call success. And if this keeps going, the financial stress is going to destroy us. I'm Peter, and if you think 2 incomes mean twice the security, you need to hear what actually happens when couples combine salaries, because there's a mathematical trap that swallows dual-income households whole. And by the time you realize you're in it, you've already built a life you can't afford to maintain and can't afford to escape. And that trap doesn't just destroy your finances, it destroys your marriage.
Amanda shows Ryan the spreadsheet. He's brushing his teeth, getting ready for bed. She says, "We need to talk about money." Ryan groans. "It's almost midnight. Can this wait?" "We made $128,000 last year and saved $1,100. When I was single making $37,000, I saved $8,160. We're making $91,000 more and saving $7,000 less. How is that possible?" Ryan sits down, looks at the numbers. "We have a house now. We have expenses. Our mortgage is $2,280. My rent was $1,050. That's $1,230 more monthly. That's $14,760 annually. Where's the other $76,000? Ryan gets defensive. "We have 2 cars. We have car payments. We didn't have those when you were single." Amanda pulls up the car payment tab. "Your car, $485 monthly. Mine, $395. Total, $10,560 annually. We're still missing $65,000. She keeps going through the categories. Each one reveals the same pattern. When she was single, $280 monthly groceries. Now, $620. Difference, $4,080 annually. When she was single, $0 in subscription services. Now, Netflix, Hulu, Disney+, Spotify, Amazon Prime, meal kits, gym memberships. Total, $340 monthly. Difference, $4,080 annually. When she was single, eating out once weekly. Now, 3 to 4 times weekly because they're both too tired to cook. Difference, $8,400 annually. She adds it up. The lifestyle expansion from single to married dual income is $62,880 annually. They didn't get $91,000 richer, they got $63,000 more expensive. Ryan says, but that's normal. That's what couples do. We're supposed to have a nicer life now. We make more money. And Amanda says, we make more money and we're more broke. I had more financial security making $37,000 alone than we have making $128,000 together. That's not normal. That's a trap. Ryan doesn't want to hear it. You're being dramatic. We're fine. We're both employed. We're paying our bills. Barely. We're paycheck to paycheck at $128,000. What happens if one of us loses our job? Ryan says, that's not going to happen. But what if it does? What if you get laid off? What if I get sick? We have $340 in our account right now. If either income disappears, we can't make it 1 month, not one. And that's when Ryan realizes she's right. They built a lifestyle that requires $128,000 to maintain. They have zero margin, zero buffer, zero safety net. They're one job loss away from financial catastrophe.
Amanda starts researching. She needs to know if they're the only ones, if they're just bad with money, or if this is bigger. She finds study after study showing the same pattern. Dual-income households making $100,000 to $150,000 have an average savings rate of 3 to 5%. Single-income households making $50,000 to $70,000 have an average savings rate of 12 to 18%. Dual-income households are more likely to carry credit card debt despite higher incomes. Dual-income households are more likely to report financial stress despite earning more. And the mechanism is clear. Two incomes create a psychological permission structure to spend more. You're not buying a $2,280 mortgage on one $70,000 income. You're buying it on combined $128,000. You're not financing two $40,000 cars on one income. You're doing it because together you make enough. Every spending decision is justified by combined income, but every risk is compounded by dual dependency. If Ryan loses his job, they don't just lose $70,000, they lose the ability to afford the $2,280 mortgage that was underwritten on $128,000. They lose the 2 car payments they took on because they had 2 incomes. They lose the lifestyle they built because dual income made it affordable. Amanda finds a forum for dual income couples. The stories are identical. We make $142,000 and live paycheck to paycheck. We make $156,000 and have $800 in savings. We make $118,000 and can't afford a $3,000 emergency. Every single one followed the same path. Combined incomes, bought house at the top of dual income budget, financed 2 cars, upgraded lifestyle to match combined income, saved nothing because we make good money, we can handle it. And now they're trapped, living in houses they can't afford on one income, driving cars they can't pay for if one job disappears, maintaining lifestyles that require permanent dual employment. Here's the pattern Amanda is seeing. The first income covers survival. The second income gets entirely consumed by lifestyle upgrades that then become fixed expenses. Ryan's $70,000 covers mortgage, utilities, insurance, groceries, gas, the baseline. Amanda's $58,000 should be the surplus, the wealth-building income, the investment fund, the security. Instead, it's getting eaten by the nicer house, wouldn't have qualified for $2,280 mortgage on one income, the second car, the upgrade spending, the subscription creep, the we both work hard, we deserve this purchases. Zero surplus, zero wealth building. Just 2 incomes perfectly calibrated to fund a lifestyle that requires both permanently.
Amanda builds a comparison model. What if they'd kept her single-person spending discipline after getting married? Actual scenario, dual income lifestyle inflation, combined income $128,000, take home after taxes $94,600, spending $93,500, savings $1,100 annually. Over 10 years, $11,000 saved. Alternative scenario, single income discipline, combined income $128,000, take home $94,600, maintain single person cost structure, add only necessary dual person costs, Housing, $1,400, a modest increase from her $1,050 single apartment. Transportation, one paid-off car, one modest payment, $4,800 annually total. Groceries, $420 monthly, $5,040 annually. Utilities, insurance, necessities, $8,400 annually. Total baseline costs, $42,240 annually. Savings available, $52,360 annually. Over 10 years, $523,600 saved. The difference? $512,600. They're choosing a lifestyle that feels like success over actual wealth accumulation that is success. And that choice is costing them over $500,000 in 10 years. But here's the even more devastating cost: relationship destruction. Amanda wants to cut back, start saving, build security. She shows Ryan the numbers. Ryan says, "You want us to live like we're poor when we make $128,000? That's insane. I want us to live like we're building something instead of just funding a lifestyle. We are building something. We have a house, we have careers, we're doing well. We have $340 in our checking account. One job loss and we lose everything. That's not doing well. That's living on the edge with nice furniture." But Ryan hears it as criticism, like she's saying he's not providing enough, like his $70,000 isn't valuable, like they should be suffering when they're making six figures combined. The fights escalate. Amanda wants to sell one car and use public transit. Ryan says that's humiliating. Amanda wants to move to a smaller, cheaper place. Ryan says they can't downgrade. What would people think? Amanda wants to cut the subscriptions. Ryan says he works 50 hours a week. He deserves Netflix. Every financial discussion becomes a battle about identity, about what success looks like, about whether they're allowed to enjoy their income or if they should be living like monks. And the real issue, that they're financially fragile and one disruption from catastrophe, gets lost in arguments about whether they deserve the lifestyle they've built. The controversial angle. Here's what's going to split the comments. Maybe Ryan is right. Maybe the point of making $128,000 is to live better than someone making $37,000. Maybe Amanda's single-person discipline made sense when she was alone, but now they're married and they should enjoy the fruits of their combined labor. Maybe driving two nice cars and living in a real house and having subscriptions and eating out isn't lifestyle inflation. Maybe it's just living. Some people will say, they make $128,000. They should be able to enjoy it. Life isn't about hoarding money, it's about living. Others will say, they're one job loss from losing everything. That's not living, that's financial Russian roulette with granite countertops. Both perspectives have merit, and that's the trap. Because this isn't about right or wrong, it's about risk tolerance, about whether you optimize for present lifestyle or future security, about whether making $128,000 means you should spend $127,000 or save $50,000. And couples who don't agree on that fundamental question destroy themselves fighting about whether to keep Netflix. Amanda gives Ryan a choice, not an ultimatum, a reality check. She shows him 3 scenarios. Scenario 1, keep current lifestyle. Hope nothing goes wrong, risk everything. Scenario 2, cut lifestyle by 30%, save $28,000 annually, build security, reduce stress. Scenario 3, separate finances completely. Each person manages their own money. No joint decisions. Ryan hates all of them. Scenario 1 terrifies him now that he sees the numbers. Scenario 2 feels like failure. Scenario 3 feels like they're not married anymore. But Amanda stays firm. We have to pick one, because what we're doing now, spending everything, saving nothing, pretending we're secure because we have 2 incomes, that's destroying us. The financial stress is constant. We fight about money every week. This isn't working. Ryan finally admits, I don't want to feel poor. I worked my whole life to not feel poor, and cutting back feels like going backwards. Amanda, I don't want to feel poor either, but I also don't want to feel terrified. And right now, I'm terrified because if anything happens to either of our jobs, we don't just struggle. We lose everything. The house, the cars, everything. They choose scenario 2, cut lifestyle by 30%. It's painful. They sell one car. They move to a smaller rental house. They cancel subscriptions. They meal prep instead of ordering out. Their lifestyle goes from impressive for people making $128,000 to modest for people making $60,000. And for 6 months, Ryan resents it. Every canceled streaming service feels like punishment. Every night of cooking at home feels like poverty cosplay. But then, something shifts. They hit $18,000 in savings, then $25,000, then $32,000. And Ryan stops waking up with that low-grade anxiety about what happens if something goes wrong, because for the first time in their marriage, they have margin, they have buffer, they have options. They're making the same $128,000, but now it feels like wealth instead of a treadmill.
Here's what Amanda and Ryan learned. 2 incomes are only an advantage if you save one of them. If both incomes get consumed by lifestyle, you haven't doubled your security, you've doubled your dependency. The dual income trap isn't about having 2 incomes. It's about using 2 incomes to justify expenses you'd never take on with one. And once those expenses become fixed, mortgage, car payments, lifestyle costs, you're locked in. You can't downgrade without admitting failure. You can't reduce without feeling poor. You can't save without sacrificing the lifestyle you built. And that lock-in is what destroys couples. Because one partner wants security and one partner wants lifestyle. And when you're spending 99% of $128,000, there's no room for both. If you're in a dual income household living paycheck to paycheck, you're not alone. You're the norm. But being normal doesn't make it sustainable. Ask yourself, if one income disappeared tomorrow, could you maintain your lifestyle for 6 months on savings? If the answer is no, you're not building wealth. You're building financial fragility with a nice address. The second income should be your wealth-building engine, not your lifestyle upgrade fund. And if you can't agree with your partner on that principle, you don't have a budget problem, you have a values problem. And values problems don't get solved with better spreadsheets. Amanda and Ryan almost destroyed their marriage fighting about whether they could afford Netflix. The real fight was about whether making $128,000 meant they were entitled to spend $128,000 or obligated to save half of it. They chose security over status, and it saved them. But thousands of couples are making the opposite choice right now, building lives that require perfect conditions to maintain, believing 2 incomes make them safe when they actually make them vulnerable. The $128,000 dual income trap doesn't destroy you with one catastrophe. It destroys you slowly, through constant financial stress, through fights about money that are really about identity, through the realization that you make 6 figures and somehow have less security than when you made $37,000. Amanda's spreadsheet is still on her kitchen table, the one showing they saved $1,100 on $128,000. Some couples would look at that and think, we need to make more money. Amanda looked at it and thought, we need to spend less money. One path leads to a bigger treadmill. One path leads to actual wealth. The trap is thinking you can have both, that making $128,000 means you can spend like you make $128,000 and save like people making $200,000. You can't. Math doesn't work that way, and marriages don't survive the stress of trying to make it work. 2 incomes can be twice the security or twice the fragility. The difference is whether you save one or spend both. Choose wisely.